Welcome to Checkers Loves Books. This is the part of the show where I recommend books that I think you should be reading. And we have two fantastic books to talk about today. The first is a book for some younger readers, but I know a lot of you may have heard of this book series and you'll probably enjoy it at any age. That is the Arthur books. Now, many of you know Arthur from the TV series Arthur, but Arthur is also the star of an entire book series, and I'm sure some of you have had a chance to read a couple of these. But the great thing about Arthur books is that there's a lot of them. He's got Arthur D.W., his whole family, his friend Buster, Binky Barnes, Mr. Rapper and the Teacher. There are all sorts of great characters in the Arthur books, and there's a lot of great stories in them. There are some stories in the Arthur books that might be exactly like things that happen in your life. Arthur might have friends like the friends you have in your life. It's very what I call realistic. It's a lot like the real world when you read this book, even though it's about a character who's an aardvark and he's got friends who are bunny rabbits and things like that. A lot of it feels like real life. And I love the illustrations by Mark Brown in these books. He does a great job with it. It's very colorful and very fun. This is a book series that you might be able to read by yourself. If you're a little bit younger, you might want your parents to read it to you, and you can look at all the fun pictures and illustrations in these books. So I love the Arthur books. And now I'm going to talk about a book series that you might be able to read if you're a little bit older. Today we're talking about book series, not just one book. These books are called the Magic Treehouse books. They're great adventure stories about two characters, one named Jack and the other named Annie, his sister. They go on amazing fun adventures. They can go inside of this magic treehouse that takes them to different places, to different parts of the world, and to different time periods. So they can go back in time, they can meet knights and dragons and pirates, and in the first book they meet dinosaurs. So it's a great adventure series. It's got a lot of fun story to it, and they're pretty short if you're a little bit older, so you can read a lot of these books. Look at them. There's been so many in these series. You can read a lot of them and pretty quickly. They're great stories to get into reading chapter books. They are great stories. They're a lot of fun to read, and I think you're really going to like the characters. The other great thing about this series of books is you might learn a lot about history. A lot of the books have facts and interesting things about them at the end of the book that will tell you the real life story of some of the places that Jack and Annie visit. So you might learn about pirates, you might learn about the old medieval knights, you might also learn about real life animals and creatures. You might learn about things in the forest, about the rainforest, the ocean. There is awesome stuff to learn in this series of books. So it's a great thing for adventure and fun, but also a great thing for real life stories and history. So we have the Magic Treehouse books and we have the Arthur books. Two great series of children's books that I think you're going to absolutely love. Take a look at them, read them, and check them out at the library. They should be pretty easy to find. And you might get into the whole series and just really love reading both of these series of books. Great stories, great characters. I'm sure you'll love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Checkers Loves Books. We will be back next week with two new book series or books to recommend.
Did you know? The moon orbits the Earth every 27.3 days. The moon is very hot during the day, but very cold at night. So cold. The Earth's tides are largely caused by the gravitational pull of the moon. The first person to set foot on the moon was Neil Armstrong. The library has tons of books about the moon. Visit the library to learn more.
Now this one is a nonfiction story, and it is called Astronauts. And again, look at this book. It's not really illustrated by anyone. Nobody drew these pictures because they are using real pictures of astronauts. And they wear a very important suit that keeps them safe because it's different up in space than it is in your living room or when you're outside. So this is the big long word, astronauts. Oops, I went a little too far. The author is Charlotte Gullion. All right. Space is up above the sky. People can travel into space. And there's the word space. I have a toy that looks just like this, an Imaginext toy. Astronauts. People who travel into space are called astronauts. Astronauts learn about space. So you have to learn a lot before you go up into space. Did you have to do that, Snoozer?
Yep, I'm a learning robot.
He sure did. Yes, he did. You just can't go up there. You have to learn certain things. Astronauts learn to work in water because when you're up in space, you kind of move like you're moving in slow motion. So they practice moving in the water. This is like working in space. So when you're practicing in the water, it's a lot like it is up in space. Astronauts travel in a space shuttle. And look at that. Does that look like your rocket, Snoozer?
Sort of. Not really.
Yeah, his was a little different. It didn't have the launcher on it. It just had the rocket part. The space shuttle takes astronauts into space. So there it is, and look at it, it has wings. Astronauts can see Earth from space. Look at that window, and look at her hair. It's going, everything floats in space. So if I was holding my glasses and I let go, they would just float away. Astronauts float in space. Look at that. Looks like fun, doesn't it? Astronauts wear a special suit in space. That. Astronauts sleep in a special bed. Now let's look at this bed. Do you notice anything about it? Kind of looks like a sleeping bag, but it looks like it zippers all the way up to the top. And there's straps here. What do you think the straps are for? Well, if you said that you would float, you're right. You would just float up. So you have to strap yourself down so you don't float away while you're sleeping. And you bump into things. And it looks like they cover their faces. Astronauts eat special food in space. So their food is called freeze-dried. It doesn't have any liquid in it, so it's not like you could make mac and cheese. You'd have to eat the special astronaut food. Food floats in space. Look at that. Looks like some sort of cereal, and it's just floating. Astronauts are building a space station in space. The space station. And there are lots of space stations in space. Astronauts live on the space station. So they land their rockets on the space station and then they can go into the big station that's up in space. Astronauts have visited the moon.
Me too!
Yes, Snoozer. Snoozer did go to the moon. But remember, when you have something important to tell Mrs. Hamilton, you really should raise your hand. They brought moon rocks and dust back to Earth. Look at that. Can you remember? What is this? Do you remember what we called that? It's the food that we eat in space. It's called freeze-dried food. And then here are some important words. Astronaut, a person who travels into space. Space shuttle is a vehicle people use to travel into space. And space station is a place built in space where people can live. And some people spend a long, long time up in that space station, like a whole year. So if you are interested in becoming an astronaut, astronaut? Well, of course you need to be in Mrs. Hamilton's class so you can learn your letters and your sounds and how to write. And then, if you really, when you grow up and want to be an astronaut, well, you have to go to a very special school where you do all the things. You learn about space, you learn in the water how it feels to be in space, and there's all kinds of important things that you need to learn. So it's important to study and work hard in school so you can grow up to be an astronaut.
And now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Checkers the Inventor's short film, Mission to the Moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You ready? Hey, buddy. You excited? All right, I'm going to head inside and we will take off in approximately 5 minutes.
Greetings. Incoming message.
There you are. Snoozer, I'm in. Do you copy?
Beep, boop, 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 boop.
English, Snoozer. Wait 1 second, I didn't activate your voice box. Okay, how about now?
Yes, I'm all set.
Good. All right, give me a second here. I'm going to get this launch going.
Accessing the mainframe. Scanning. Scanning. Verifying. Verifying. All phases complete. Launch sequence activated.
Okay, great.
Two minutes.
Let me see the rocket one more time. Give me a camera 5, left side.
5 activated.
Okay, just pan down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Zoom in on that. Oh boy.
Oh boy, what?
Snoozer, we have a problem.
What?
Snoozer, there is a hole in the rocket.
Oh my gosh! Can you cancel it?
I am unable to comply.
Well, that's just great. Now I'm stuck here. Can you at least plug the hole?
Maybe. Yes, Snoozer, my cool tool. If I can freeze the hole with the cool tool, it might become airtight and it might work.
1 minute.
Hurry! Do you remember where the entrance is?
Yes, maybe?
Okay, I'm activating my mapping code, just in case.
This wasn't it.
No, that's Wegmans. What is with you in Wegmans?
What? It's a quality supermarket. This isn't it either.
No, it's Sesame Street.
Really? Wow. Hey, do you know Sesame Street started in 1969, the very same year as the Apollo 11 moon landing? Fascinating.
Yes, fascinating. Hurry up!
Okay, where am I going?
Look for the sign that says Field of Play.
Yes, this is it.
And try to pretend you're in a hurry.
Ooh, Snoozer. The Toy Hall of Fame is just up there. Do you mind if I check it out?
You've got to be kidding.
Yes, I'm kidding. I'm on the way.
No, no, yes, no, yes.
Hold on, Snoozer. I'm coming.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Goodbye.
Yes! I can't believe that actually worked. Snoozer, that was close.